What's going on, guys? Last time we've built for these little devices right here, and today we're going to look at what exactly we can do with these, because there is a few things that are now unlocked since you actually build to mobile phone. And the first one we're going to be checking out today is the gyroscope. Now, if you don't know what the gyroscope is, let me just pull that scene really quickly, and we're going to have a look at what the gyroscope is. So basically, you have some kind of device like that inside of your phone that just records exactly how is the phone oriented in the real world. You see this being used in a lot of applications such as bubble level, which is going to help you determine if your shelf are on level or if your pool table is on the level, as you can tell right here. Those are real world example of what the gyroscope could be used for. Now, in our case, we're going to be using it to orient ourselves in the real world. And let me just show you the scene I have right here. It's the same exact scene as we had in the previous video where I showed you how to build this to the phone. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a look around the scene just by pivoting our phone, basically. Now, before we get started, let me just say right here that not every phone have a gyroscope. Well, most of them do nowadays, but if it's a really old phone, they don't have a gyroscope, and of course, this is not going to work since you need the sensor to have this work. Right now, I've Googled my phone. I'm using a Google Pixel. Under the sensor, you can see that there is the gyro right here. It's only called gyro here, but it might be called gyroscope on your spec. So now we know our device is supported. Let me go in Unity, create a new C# script, and this one is going to be called gyro controls, or just gyro control like this. Let's open it up in Visual Studio, and we're going to start laying down the basic code we need. Now guys, this is really easy stuff, and you're going to see that Unity pretty much does everything for us already. So let me start by laying down the basic stuff we need. We need a boolean that knows if our gyroscope is enabled or not. So I'll just call this private bool gyro enabled, and also a structure of that gyroscope. So private gyro, and I'll just call it gyro. Now in my start, I will make sure to actually just enable this. And I'll actually do that in another function because we've got more logic coming real soon. So I'll do a private bool enable gyro, just like this. What I'll do in the start is I'll say gyro enable is going to equal enable gyro. So this way, if we're not able to enable gyro, if it's not being supported, we're going to have false in gyro enable, and we're not going to be running the update that we should be running. Now, to enable a gyroscope in Unity, there is something really easy to do. It's only a two-step thing, really. You start by if statement, and you say, well, is the system supporting it? So if system info supports the gyroscope, if it does, you are going to enter a if statement and simply say gyro is equal to input.gyro. As simple as that. And then afterward, you need to enable it, which is a simple boolean. So gyro.enable is equal to true. At this point, you've got all you need. You can simply do a return true out of that function. And if you were not able to actually get in here, then you got to make sure that you return false because we're returning a boolean. At that point, if we made it here, gyro enable is true, and if we made it here, it is false. Now, something that is really annoying though when you actually develop for the gyroscope is that the only way to test it out is on your actual device, because your computer does not have a gyroscope, and you can't really emulate it unless you plug in your phone and you just do the remote connection with Unity, which we're not going to do right here since it is a lot of trouble to go through. Instead, we're going to be creating our mechanic around this. But let me just say right here that this is all you actually need. And if you need to play around with the values in here, let's actually create our update right away. So private void update. The values that you play with are called attitude. So gyro.attitude, and that's it really. That's the value you need to actually know how your phone is oriented in the real life. And this is a quaternion, so it actually returns you a rotation. Now, for the sake of actually giving this a purpose, we're going to be creating a mechanic around it, a mechanic that allows you to actually just look around. So if you just want to stick around and write down this code with me, we are going to create a private game object that is going to be a camera container. And then just below it, we're going to make sure we also save the rotation, so private quaternion rotation. With these two new fields, we're going to go down at the start and actually transfer our camera. Make sure our camera is actually a children of another object so we can keep our original rotation safe. So we're going to say camera container is equal to a new game object. So we're creating a new object. Let's actually call it camera container as well. When you send in a single string parameter to your game object constructor. It is simply going to create a empty game object and then rename it. So right now we have a empty game object at 0, 0, 0, and it is being actually called camera container. Now what we're going to do is actually move him over to where the camera is. So camera container transform position is equal to transform dot position, assuming we're putting this on the camera. And then afterward, let's just say transform set parent. So we're going to take the camera and actually set it as a children of the object we've just created. Just like this. Now at this point, we have a new object that wraps around the camera. Let me just book this in game so you guys can see. We have the main camera right here. I'm going to put my Gyroscope on it, on the camera. Then when I press on play, it is now right here as a children of camera container. At this point, we still do not have our mechanic. We only managed to create an object that is the parent of our camera. What we're going to do right here is whenever we enable the Gyroscope, we are going to create some kind of rotation already set. We're going to say camera container dot transform dot rotation is equal to quaternion dot Euler 90 degrees, 90 degrees, and then let's do 0. Oops. And then just after that, we're going to say rotation is equal to a new quaternion 0, 0, 1, 0. So this way, whenever we start our Gyroscope, whenever we actually try to have the scene set up, it's going to be pointing in front of us. You'll see what I mean in a second when we actually try it out. And okay, so that's all we need in the enable gyro. Now let's move over to the update because we want to be using that gyro.attitude function. Let's do if the gyro is enabled. So if gyro enabled, we are going to reposition the local rotation of the camera. So transform local rotation, and it's going to equal gyro.attitude. And we need to multiply it by our quaternion right here, our rotation quaternion. Now what this is going to give us, if you go back in the game, is absolutely nothing new. And the reason is we do not have a gyroscope, so we can't actually go through the update here. So what we're going to be doing right now is we're going to save everything. Make sure we go under build settings, change our player settings. So let's go down here to, oh, we're not set on Android. Let me just double click on Android, switch the platform. Right now, we're just making sure that we can actually build to our phone. And if you need help building to your phone, if you need help building to your device, make sure you check out the other video we've done yesterday. You can find it at the end of this video in the end slate. So if you haven't done it already, just go check it out. Make sure you can build to your phone. Let me just change this to com N3K and then gyro. And once I do have my bundle identifier, I will go ahead and just do a build and run. And now we will swap over to the other camera and actually have a look at this when it's running. So we're about to get a build on my phone right here. I'll be holding this and also recording the screen so you guys can see. And here we go. So if I just unplug this real quick, as you guys see, I'm moving around and I can actually visualize my scene in the whole environment. My water shader is obviously not working properly, but as you can tell, as I'm moving my phone around, it's actually using the gyroscope to visualize the scene. And now it is up to you to create a game that is going to make people look stupid in public. So guys, if you enjoyed this, please leave me a like on the video. And if you did learn something, then just go ahead and leave a like on the video. I already said that. Okay, well, if you don't know how to build to your phone, you can click right here. We've got the end slate, and it is going to bring you to the video we've done yesterday about how to build to your phone and also all the problems you're going to run into. There's about like 5 of them, so you need a proper setup to have your phone running your games. So yeah. Just click on that video now. Also, subscribe. Yeah, you can also subscribe, that'd be nice.